Rob Grimes with the IFBTA, and today I'm really very pleased to have in the studio, which is like not normal, but in the studio to have our guest Brett Smith, who's the Vice President of Product Strategy and Management at PAR Technology, and PAR is one of our industry supporter members. So welcome to the studio, Brett.
Thanks for having us.
Are all of the different products in the set, it sounds like there are about 6 to 8, are they all offered through the dealer channel, and are they all offered internationally?
Not yet. So a lot of our
Is that
focus.
a goal and a strategy to get there?
Well, I think there's, depending on where we are and which product, there's a shorter path or a longer path. So as Menu is actually a company that we acquired in Europe. And so they are already in Latin America, South America, Europe, and miscellaneous places. Our drive with Menu was to bring it into the United States, where we think there's a sweet spot.
Right.
Punch is doing activity in some of the European spots, and I think we have it maybe in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
Brink is centralized in the United States and Canada, and we have lofty goals, not near term, to see how all of our products become international. But each of them are on their own curve.
Right. But if somebody wants to purchase a product, so I always call it, an all-in-one solution or a best of breed.
Mm-hmm.
And clearly in the market, as you're trying to differentiate yourself, some people are going to ask you about the all-in-one, and some
Right.
people are going to ask you a best of breed, meaning that they may not want to replace everything they have. They want to bring in the best here, and then maybe over time, they developed a longer-term relationship in it. So is it a choice here, or you really have the option to sort of choose it as an all-in-one package if you want, bringing the pieces together, or is it truly best in breed and then they have to put that together?
So I'll focus on let's draw a line around the United States.
North America or United States?
Let's call it North America. Sure.
North.
When looking at all of our products, we consider those best of breed, and you're also able to take them all, right? We have teams that work together to make sure that entire solution fits. So when I hear all in one, though, I think thin and wide, and that's not what we are. We're deep in every category.
Yeah, well, if you're going to sell standalone, you have to be deep in every category.
Right.
So the advantage is the ability to sell standalone and to be deep in every category, because you got to be the best if you're going to go against competitors that are in that category
Right.
only, right?
Yep.
But on the other hand, the advantage of being all in one when you bring those individual swim lanes together, is that you are actually getting best of breed products in each. And it sounds like you are the strategy guy. So it sounds like the strategy, is to look at best of breeds that will work well together as
Yes.
well, because at the end, it's about a relationship and trying to solve people's problems, and they want to be in the systems business nor the integration business.
Right.
So you offer that solution.
And so if you also look across our different products, there's a depth in which you can decide to go into. Like I mentioned in Data Central, often we can find a quick, really high ROI in implementing labor, right, and enterprise reporting, where they have the option to do inventory later.
It's modularized.
Right? It's modularized.
And it can be purchased that way.
Correct.
Great. So that's even better, right?
So yeah, as a digital adoption curve, right? The digital adoption says that as you have one store to 10 and 10 to 20 and 20 to 30, you're diving deeper into those different solutions, right? And adding more as you grow. And that's what we're positioned for.
So now one other question, I want to take a look at some things that with your strategy hat on, because we're sort of talking about product hat right now. So we've got those two in here. But cross-industry verticals, our industry has a lot of verticals.
Yep.
And can you just sort of describe which verticals within the industry or outside the industry? Some people throw retail under food service or food service under retail. So
packaged goods.
Hotels. So, where are you guys, playing?
Okay, so across all of our solutions, we are quick service and fast casual.
Okay.
As you move into different, and I'll start with Brink as a part of the, in brick and mortar, right? And then if you look at how Punch is situated
And Menu.
but
E-commerce.
so interestingly enough, we just installed with Hooters with Brink. So we're moving from quick service and fast casual out to table service. And table service, I'll just put the overarching single unit to enterprise. Right?
Okay.
So the available market just increased quite a bit for us.
Of course.
As we move into table service. When you look at loyalty, we span even more across. So we're in convenience stores, so packaged goods as well. And Brink's not playing there yet. Menu, on the other hand, sits all the way across every
And Data
imaginable.
Central would sit all the way across,
And Data
right?
Central,
Because
too,
it wouldn't
right.
matter, including other industries that are out there,
Right.
the opportunities. But there are two industry segments that seem to be growing segments. One is the crossover between hospitality, meaning lodging,
Mm-hmm.
and then the other one is the non-traditional segment, your stadiums, your arenas, your
Right.
business food service. Are you actively engaged in either of those?
So we're having early discussions regarding hotels because you're right. The hotel brands are trying to bring in notable brands in their food and beverage business, right? So we're being pulled into that
As
more
the
than
C-stores have already done.
Of course, yeah, and so that's a trend that I think will continue. When thinking about stadiums, arenas, they're also doing that, but in a larger scale. The food service providers in stadium arena are making the larger decisions. It's not just a bring in the brand.
Well,
scenario.
not necessarily, because I had this discussion the last couple of days on my travels, and as we know, some universities or businesses or stadiums, arenas are self-op, and they're doing, or airports, they're bringing them in individually, and then of course you have the big 3 or 4 that really do a lot of the management in it,
Right.
just like you have management companies in hotels.
Sure.
So.
Yep.
It's not always, they're
It's definitely
deciding,
not
right? And they
always, yeah.
sometimes have a requirement to bring in a local brand.
Yep. So in those circumstances, it's really about who values who more, right? In often cases, what I've seen in the past is if you have a very specialized brand that's being like pulled in to a stadium arena
Right.
or a campus service, right? They have the leverage to say, I choose my tech, right? But there's also a larger playing field that happens in those environments where the overall food service provider, team or otherwise, will say, I'm going to choose this technology overall.
Well, that
Can
may
you
be
adapt?
part of the reason why you hire them.
Right.
You don't want to worry about it, right?
Right.
So I look,
I think
so I
there's a
clearly
blend.
get that. Okay, so we have these other industries that are out there, and by the way, some of them could be industries that could take advantage of your hardware because your hardware
100%.
stands on its own,
Yep.
and 110 countries stand on their own. So that's an
Actually, in our
option, too.
hardware, we're seeing it a lot in casinos, right? In hotels a little bit.
And cruise ships
Yep.
and a number of places,
Yeah.
right? I completely forget about that.
Right.
So okay,
So one of the innovations we did in hardware was how the hardware got packaged. And so we were able to take the traditional turned bezel and be able to package it a little bit different. And we're able to stuff don't hold me to the number, but like 20% more in a shipping container. That drives costs down both when we ship it and as well as ship it out.
well, one of the things I know early on, I don't know if this made any money for PAR, but it certainly was a differentiator, was the ability to choose color of terminals, but also you were very much onto the eco-friendly sustainability
Yeah.
and how you were building, including, by the way, putting more in a shipping container,
Mm-hmm.
which does make a difference because that is also part of the ideals and core of the company as well.
Right. And that follows through from those early days of changing color. Being eco-friendly has been there all along.
We're really pleased to have PAR Technology as an industry supporter member, and
Thanks for
very
having us.
pleased to have Brett Smith, who is well known in the industry and has that reputation that he brings to PAR and the experience there as their Vice President of Product Strategy and Management. And so thank you for your support of the industry and
Thanks for
for your
having us.
support of the IFBTA.
All right, thanks.